when you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy, they had great arms, but they ran.
I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
All right, let's hop right in. How's everybody doing, guys? Welcome back. I appreciate you. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast made to sift through the bullshit, propaganda, lies of the mainstream media, Republican Party, Donald Trump in particular, and breaking it down for everyday working class individuals like you and like me. Lots to talk about today. Thank you so much for joining me once again. The people in the chat who make this show happen, thank you. Also, the mods, appreciate you mods for keeping this chat a safe place, for making this something that we can continue doing. Thank you for the Trucker John convoy raid. I appreciate you guys. Say what's up to Trucker John for me. Nick, how are you? What's up, Heidi? What's up, Carol? What's up, Ian? Yakov, how are you? Tricinia, Albert, Greg, what's going on? Jerry, Yakov, Roxanne, Gamer, what's up, dude? Debbie, how are you? Susie, how are you? Nancy, how are you? Pam, how are you? Thank you so much. WW, what's going on, guys? Hit that like button. Let's get the self-promotional bullshit out of the way right off the bat. Venmo up in the corner. Bust a buck, try your luck, support some independent media, truly independent media. You can also contribute just like Jerry just did via YouTube in the super chat or super sticker process, which obviously you can just pick your amount, whatever you want to send, pick a message like Jerry did there. Heroyam Slava right back at you, Jerry. I appreciate you. But there's multiple ways you can become a channel member just underneath me for less than $3. The Patreon that's going by on the scroller, the ticker there, you can check that out for as little as $5 a month. You can help become a Patreon member and check out the Zooms, the monthly Zooms that we have. So check out the dates for September as well. I know we threw those in. I'll throw those up in the I'll throw those up in a little bit, but we got a lot to talk about, lots to discuss. I know yesterday we were covering the press conference there by the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Lots more that I want to get into today, not only pertaining to that, but a lot more as well. I want to first, what we're going to dive into is this article from the Washington Post here, which kind of lays out Donald Trump's post-war Gaza plans that he envisions for voluntary relocation of an entire population. So we'll be checking out this, and then we'll be checking out, honestly, the reaction to this. So this is Michael Knowles. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Michael Knowles. I believe he was at one point, I don't know if he still is affiliated with the Daily Wire. I know the Daily Wire has been going through some changes. It does look like it says on the bottom right-hand side, Daily Wire here. So at one point, I know he was affiliated just to kind of stay safe. But he kind of reacts to this article as well. So we'll just be playing a couple seconds of that. We'll be talking also what we were discussing yesterday about the NBC News sit-down. And there was also an ABC News sit-down as well with the Epstein survivors and the victims from Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, and alike. They sat down. I know everybody's going to be dying to talk about RFK getting his his ass handed to him. You know what I mean? But we'll be talking about that. There's also this clip from Charlie Kirk, who again tries to protect Donald Trump. Remember, this is the guy that said he was no longer going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, was no longer going to talk about the Epstein files. But he's back talking about it, and it's to cover Donald Trump's ass once again. I want to see if I can show this as well. Just the kind of opening monologue. I don't know what the copyright situations are. I know I used to be able to play it, I feel like, but I'm not 100% sure. But there was a lot of coverage, a lot of views on the late night shows, obviously after the craziness that Donald Trump had, obviously the craziness with the press conference of the survivors. I know you guys also wanted to take a look at this. We'll be taking a look at a couple clips from RFK's horrendous performance. There are some satellite photos from in and around Venezuela showing the U.S. Navy fleet approaching Venezuela. And then what might be the main story today is the ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones finally lost his shit. Hold on. I should have probably had these ready. Knowing that knowing that I was going to be talking about him, because he has finally lost his mind, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Jones, I think, has finally gone off the deep end.
My superpower is being honest. I will eat my neighbors.
And that's not even the weirdest thing that you're going to hear from Alex Jones's mouth. No, well,
How do you lie to the
Oh, no, that's Donald Trump. I apologize. That's not him.
cacophony, a crescendo, a finale, a coup de grace?
All right, so we'll be checking out this because apparently there's some internal strife, internal struggles going on inside of Infowars where, I don't know, what's the guy's name? Owen Shroyer, Evan Shroyer, something like that. One of Alex Jones's proteges has decided to make the split from Infowars, and apparently it wasn't a mutual split. We'll also, if there's time, be taking a look. MTG was on with Eric Bowling talking about her push for the transparency of the Epstein files. What else do we got? If we got time, there's also something that I wanted to get to yesterday, but we didn't have time, which was Nigel Farage, again, getting his ass handed to him by not only Jamie Raskin, but Jared Moskowitz, and people like that. So if I could get your attention just for a second and ask you if you could hop out, hit that like button. It's a thumbs up. It's free. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing. At least by the end of the show, you should know. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because that is also free. Share the show out. If you can share the show to one or two friends, it's probably the most important thing you could do for this show today. Thank you so much for the kind and generous contributions right off the bat already. Nancy, thank you so much. You say what this is for. I appreciate you both, you and Mel. So thank you, Nancy, for the Venmo. Very kind and generous of you. And thank you to everybody that contributes. Thank you, Rocks. Again, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. This thing working? It is working. It is working. And I appreciate you trying it out. I really do. So what do you say we get into a little bit of this article from the Washington Post that depicts a little bit of what Donald Trump and the Trump administration are trying to envision, or what they are envisioning for post-war Gaza plans, and it's pretty friggin' horrific. It says here the Trump administration and international partners are discussing the proposal to build a, quote, Riviera of the Middle East, end quote, on the rubble of Gaza. One would establish U.S. control and pay Palestinians to leave. So we're talking about a plan put in place in writing where the United States is going to be paying, I believe it was something ridiculously meager, something like $5,000 to each Palestinian to forcibly remove themselves, right? Or what they're calling voluntarily removing themselves. So let's see if we can just read into a little bit of this. A post-war plan for Gaza circulating within the Trump administration. Yeah, I'll make this a little bigger so it might be a little easier for you guys to see on the screen. How's that? A little better? A little better for you guys? All right. Appreciate it. A post-war plan for Gaza circulating within the Trump administration, modeled on President Donald Trump's vow to, quote, take over, end quote, the enclave, would turn it into a trusteeship administered by the United States for at least 10 years while it is transformed into a gleaming tourism resort and high-tech manufacturing and technology hub. The 38-page prospectus, seen by the Washington Post, envisions at least a temporary relocation of all of Gaza's more than 2 million population, either through what it calls voluntary departures to another country or into restricted, secured zones inside the enclave during reconstruction. Those who land would be offered a digital token by the trust in exchange for rights to redevelop their property. Again, we're talking about the colonial settlers, to be used to finance a new life elsewhere or eventually redeemed for an apartment in one of 6 to 8 new, quote, AI-powered smart cities, end quote, to be built in Gaza. Each Palestinian who chooses to leave would be given $5,000 cash payment in subsidies to cover 4 years of rent elsewhere, as well as a year of food. So that's something that the United States is literally trying to put in writing, or has already put in writing. The fact that they're going to pay the rent for 4 years, give $5,000 in cash, and try to give them a year's worth of food, whatever they consider a year's worth of food for these people, is outrageous to say the least. Right, the fact that, again, this is in writing. The plan estimates that every individual departure from Gaza would save the trust $23,000 compared to the cost of temporary housing, what it calls, quote, life support services in the secure zones for those who stay. called the Gaza Reconstruction, Reconstitution, Economic Acceleration and Transformation Trust, or Great Trust. The proposal was developed by some of the same Israelis who created and set in motion the U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the one that we were reporting on. Tony Aguilar, who gave his firsthand accounts on what he saw over there as far as Palestinians being picked off. We now hear the accounts now of like the target practice where on certain days, Palestinians will be coming in with certain wounds to certain parts of the body. So some days it'll be a Tuesday and you'll see multiple injuries, multiple gunshot wounds to the person's elbow, or multiple victims will come out with gunshot wounds to their elbow, right? The next day will be gunshot wounds to the head. The next day will be gunshot wounds to the thigh. So you can pretty much tell that they're using this as target practice where, okay, we're going to go out there today, we're going to kill them all, but today we're going to try to kill them all with headshots, or today we're just going to pick them off and hit them in the arm, all right? And we're going to practice our aim on people like that. So the fact that this is in any way affiliated with the GHF is absolutely disturbing. Because we've heard nothing but bad things about that since the day it was made public. So people familiar with the trust planning with the administration deliberations of a post-war Gaza spoke about the sensitive subject in the condition of anonymity. The White House referred questions to the State Department, which declined to comment. Funny enough, BCG has said the work on the trust plan was expressly not approved and that two senior partners who led the financial modeling were subsequently fired. On Wednesday, Trump held a White House meeting to discuss ideas for how to end the war, now approaching the 2-year mark, and what comes next. Participants including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Presidential Envoy Steve Witkoff, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, whose views on Gaza's future have been solicited by the administration, and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, who handled much of the president's first-term initiatives on the Middle East and has extensive private interests in the region. No need to remind you of the billions and billions of dollars that Jared Kushner received from bad actors in the Middle East, we'll just say, after his departure from the White House or after the Trump administration's first term. No readout of the meeting or policy decisions were announced, although Witkoff said the night before the gathering that the administration had a, quote, very comprehensive plan, end quote. If not clear if the detailed and comprehensive Great Trust proposal is what Trump has in mind, but major elements of it, according to two people familiar with the planning, were specifically designed to make real the president's vision of a, quote, Riviera of the Middle East. You can see there. Perhaps not appealing, it purports to require no U.S. government funding and offer significant profit to investors, unlike the controversial and sometimes cash-strapped GHF, which uses arms private U.S. security contractors to distribute food in 4 southern Gaza locations. The trust plan, quote, does not rely on donations, the prospectus says. Instead, it would be financed by public and private sector investment in what it calls mega projects, from electric vehicle plants and data centers to beach resorts and high-rise apartments. So, again, trying to envision what this is going to be turned into. Calculations include the plan envisioning a nearly 4-fold return on a $100 billion investment after 10 years. So they're going to make $400 billion on a $100 billion investment after 10 years with ongoing self-generating revenue streams. Some elements of the proposal were first reported by the Financial Times, yada, yada, yada. I believe Trump is going to have a bold decision when fighting the end. Someone familiar with the internal administration deliberate. There are multiple different variations where the U.S. government could go depending on what happens. So this article, I think, goes on a little more to competing plans for Gaza. Proposals on the day after the war ends in Gaza have proliferated almost since the day it started on 7 October 2023. Not technically really when it started, but when Hamas militants invaded southern Israel, killing around 1,200 people and taking about 250 hostages. As Israel's military response has systematically reduced the enclave to rubble, displacing hundreds of thousands, leaving more than 60,000 Palestinians dead and nearly 500,000 facing what Global Crisis Monitor said was catastrophic hunger. Think tanks, academics, international organizations, governments, and individuals have proposed ways to rehabilitate and govern Gaza. Early in the war, proposal surfaced in Israel to create Hamas-free zones or bubbles under Israeli military protection in Gaza, where Palestinians could receive humanitarian aid and gradually govern themselves as the conflict came to an end. What a fucking horrendous idea that sounds like. Far-right members of Netanyahu's coalition government have advocated permanent Israeli occupation. As we've said many times in the show, they've not held back on what they really want to see happen in this area. which is why none of this other mumbo jumbo bullshit propaganda should be paid attention to, because we've heard exactly what the government of Israel is wanting to do and wanting to commit and wanting to perpetrate over there. It's no mistake. It's no accident. What's going on? It's a well-calculated plan that they are carrying out step by step because of the feckless and weakness of the Trump regime and the U.S. government in order to stand firm, stand tall, and stop what's going on. But we're not the only ones that this is pissing off, and it's outraging. And like I said, people that are expressing concern about what's going on. I don't know how much of this we'll get through, but I think in the beginning of this, it's pretty clear to say that even people as corrupt, as people as morally bankrupt as Michael Knowles is, can see the issue with this plan. So let me just see if I can get through just a minute of this, see if it gives us at least a little insight, because when I continue to tell you that cracks are forming in MAGA, we see Marjorie Taylor Greene, as we'll probably look at later on in the show when we talk about the Epstein victims press conference and their sit down with NBC and ABC. You can see that the cracks are forming in more ways than one. Israel is forming cracks inside of MAGA. The Epstein debate and saga is forming cracks inside of MAGA. And we need to do everything we possibly can as progressives, as lefties, as liberals, whatever you want to call yourself, to make sure that we pry open these cracks as wide as possible to take advantage of this and make sure that not only do we see justice and accountability, but that we can also work with this politically. We can see some change and gain some ground and some momentum politically as well. So let's just see what this asshole has to say.
Really surprising report coming out of the Washington Post. Gaza post-war plans envision voluntary relocation of the entire population. Now, I say this is surprising, not because Trump hasn't proposed it before. Trump proposed earlier this year to get all the Gazans out of Gaza temporarily, and then he would build a big, beautiful hotel and casino somewhere, and then they could all come back in, but it would be really nice.
Do you understand what he's talking about? Do you understand what he's actually saying in the callous nature in which he's saying it? Like the way he's just brazenly going about saying that the president of the United States has on many occasions talked about building a casino on an area that has now been reduced to rubble. Have you seen, let me see if I can find this real quick. Have you seen that little transition that they've had going around where it is, a transition of a street inside, the Gaza Strip, and then all of a sudden it transforms into what it looks like now? Let's see here. Let's see if I can just pull it up real quick. Transformation. That'll pull it up. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if this is it right here. Shit, let's tab instead. See if I can put this on the screen for you guys. Just a little illustration. And how can I make this bigger for you guys? Is that working? Is that working for you? Right? And now you can see the aftermath. You can see this is the after. And then wait till you see the before, right? A thriving community, not buildings laid flat upon themselves. Wait till they begin. So this is what it looked like before. This is Gaza City's main road in July 2023 versus September 2025. Ready? Now the transition comes, and you see it now. Right. So this is what Donald Trump is talking about, building the Riviera on, his fucking Gaza Strip casino, Trump Plaza Gaza. And then you got this asshole who, again, I'm giving no props or flowers to, just brazenly talking about it. The man he continues to support, and the report he now holds in his hand talking about the policy of the United States is possibly going to be to pay people to voluntarily remove themselves from their homeland, right? And this is what this... Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Make sure you thank Patrick in the chat, too, if you're one of the lucky ones to get one of those 5 gifted memberships. Patrick, I appreciate you. Hope you're having a wonderful day, dude. And let's continue with this asshole. Sorry. I'm going to stomach about as much as I could possibly stomach, and then we'll move on to our next story.
This, however, has a lot more specificity to it. So this is coming out of the deep state paper of record, the Washington Post. The Trump administration and international partners are discussing proposals to build a Riviera of the Middle East on the rubble of Gaza. One would establish U.S. control and pay Palestinians to leave. What does this come from? It's a 38-page document circulating the administration called the Gaza Reconstruction, Economic Acceleration, and Transformation Trust, or GREAT. Great. Did you catch it?
I mean, again, just to be reporting on this in some way and trying to call yourself a so-called journalist or trying to report this in some sort of serious manner is absolutely not what Michael Knowles is trying to accomplish right here. Again, I don't know how you can even pull a smile out of your fucking little Weasley ass when talking about something like this. Again, the guy that you supported, the guy that you got into office, a guy that we are now has been caught in actively trying to engage in a government conspiracy to cover up his involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's criminalities and sex trafficking ring with with underage girls, that were taken from his properties on Mar-a-Lago that probably shouldn't have been working there or definitely were illegally working there in the first place. And then you got this fucking Weasley little geeky pipsqueak coming on here smiling from fucking ear to ear talking about this ridiculous policy, this almost certainly inhumane, illegal, against international law, against the fucking Geneva Convention, against the rules and acts of war, against fucking international, against every fucking possible policy and regulation you could fathom. And this weak, pathetic motherfucker's on here grinning from ear to ear.
Yep. Great. And according to the report, this was developed by some Israelis who were involved in creating the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and the financial planning was conducted by a team from Boston Consulting Group. Okay. Now, I know everyone's immediate reaction. What the hell is this about? Why is America getting dragged into some awful conflict in the Middle East? And even if it doesn't seem like a conflict right now, it's not going to win us any friends. It's not going to help.
Even if it doesn't seem like a okay, that's enough of you fucking hack motherfucker. You can get me fucking sent off of this platform really quick. It doesn't seem to be a conflict right now. You don't see the fucking the humanitarian crisis unfolding before our very eyes. You don't see the videos of the starving kids. You don't see the videos of the fucking hospital. And I guess there's new reporting. Or not, I guess. I know there's new reporting on what was originally called the double tap, the double strike on the Nasser hospital. But apparently more footage has come out. And it was originally 2 strikes followed by 2 more strikes. But the second 2 strikes were basically concurrent strikes to create more damage, more havoc. But they have since found 2 different spots in which it was struck the first time. There was a significant point of peace, or not peace, but a significant time where, people were, what looked to be allowed in to sift through the rubble to start saving people, to make sure that they were administering life-saving aid. And then it was struck again by 2 simultaneous missiles to make sure that the damage was even worse than the first time. So new reporting on that. No mistake. Something that Israel has absolutely a tactic they have absolutely used before. But before I get too pissed off and, like I said, get thrown off the platform because of fucking Michael Knowles, let's see if we can head into our next story, because I definitely wanted to cover this as well. Clearly, obviously. Let me put this on the screen so you don't have to look at his ass anymore. This was the NBC sit-down, NBC exclusive Epstein, Maxwell survivors and family speak out in exclusive interview. Like I said, there was also the Epstein survivors speak out with Lindsay Davis on ABC. But let's see if we can just dive into a little bit of this and see if we can gather maybe more information that we didn't hear at the press conference yesterday, which we covered. And if you didn't watch that, make sure you go back to yesterday's show and check out our coverage of the press conference, because, obviously every single word that they say, every single word that these survivors and victims come out with is something that deserves to be covered and highlighted. So let me see if I can throw this on the old big screen for you guys. We'll get into a little bit of this. I'm going to speed it up just a touch so we can hopefully get through as much content as we possibly can today. I appreciate you. Make sure you're hitting that like button. It goes really a long way in helping this channel. Shows YouTube that, people are engaged. Make sure you're throwing emojis in the chat. Thank you to the mods again. Thank you to everybody in the chat for contributing. Thank you to everybody sending Venmos, PayPals, signing up for YouTube membership, signing up at patreon.com/BostonBrian. You guys are truly the backbone of independent media in this space, not just mine, but also other people that you help and contribute to their channels as well. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hit that like button again. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Let's get into this NBC exclusive sit down with the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell survivors and see if we can get any more information from this.
Exclusively with one the biggest group of survivors and their family members brought together at the same time. Some of these people had never met each other before, including a woman who has never before come forward to share her story about the abuse she says she faced at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. I want to play for you now my conversation with these individuals you're hearing for the very first time right here on NBC News Now.
Thank you.
A show of hands here. If you or somebody you love was abused or trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. All of you. So given that, you are here together, the 9 of you in this room, in this, what feels like a show of solidarity. Why? Why did you decide to come here today? Jess?
I'm coming here because there's been a severe miscarriage of justice, a delay in accountability, and we've all come together beautifully and tragically, which feels healing and devastating all at the same time, to speak out and to be fueled by each other's voices in a way that I don't know that we've had the opportunity to in the past.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. I'm here for the same reasons, but for me, the most important thing is accountability. My whole mission is to get somebody, or the majority of the people, to be held accountable for what they did and what we've all been suffering through for the last, 15, 20 years.
Marika, you're somebody who has spoken publicly about your experience before. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be sitting alongside 8 other people and telling your story and in being here?
Today, I didn't think I would be here 6 years later from when I was here in 2019. I guess
now, was this something where like one group of them sat down with NBC, another group of them sat down with ABC so they could kind of both, get their stories out at the same time? Or is it the same group of women that sat down with both? I just want to make sure I don't, favor one over the other or try to or miss out on something that they were saying there. But sorry, let me continue.
I'd like to say that, sorry, it's always a bit nerve-wracking to speak on camera like this, but I just want to say that the government has failed us. Maria Farmer reported this in 1996, and now there's a pending lawsuit where hopefully there will be some accountability.
Yeah. Jenna Lisa, how about you?
I'm here once again speaking our truth and kind of beside myself that we're even having to do this again because they never did what they should have done in the beginning.
And I should before I go right off and try to combat what the right wing is highlighting from this interview, which is the moment in time where the reporter asked what is ultimately a small group of people that were ultimately involved in this investigation, ultimately involved in this case, ultimately that were victimized by Jeffrey Epstein and the multitude of other perpetrators in this case. If they were asked if they had ever seen themselves any, I guess, wrongdoings or criminalities or Donald Trump himself do anything, and I believe they said no. But again, to use the, 7 or 8, and some of them being family members, not actual, I believe some of Virginia Dufresne's family members are part of this, so it's not the actual victim there, but to use the, I guess, small subset of people on this panel as important as telling as their stories and reports and testimonies are, but to use that one question and the fact that these people that are now sitting on this panel didn't themselves see any wrongdoing by Donald Trump themselves, which again we would have to assume would be well hidden, right? The account from when Jeffrey Epstein went with one of his girlfriends into Trump Tower and Trump was groping her in front of the office and nobody did anything. That's a story that we've definitely heard of, but that's seems to be a story few and far between that it was done that openly and brazenly in public. A lot of it seems to have been done behind closed doors, on the island, in private jets, at resorts, in fucking high-rise mansions or apartments in fancy places. So for that question to be answered with a no from these specific women and the family members that are now sitting does not take away or give Donald Trump a pass, does not take away his possible involvement in whatever form in this whole criminal fucking ring. Does not give him a pass, does not free him, in which you'll hear, again, Charlie Kirk when we finish this. We'll play a clip from Charlie Kirk trying to, I guess, combat this interview, combat the Epstein investigation once again, trying to highlight that moment as a reason why we should be leaving Donald Trump's name out of this for the rest of the time, basically.
Now, here we are having to do interviews like this to get our voices out there because they didn't just listen to us the first time we said it.
That must feel frustrating.
Extremely.
Yeah. The idea of repeating, having to do this again and again. Did you ever think you'd have to?
No. I mean, in 2019, when I spoke up and went public on what had happened to me in 2003 at 14 years old, was something that I should have never had to have done in my life. It should have been taken care of and handled from the beginning and been investigated properly so we wouldn't have had to be at this point, And
again, 14 years old, and even if these women themselves did not see Donald Trump commit any crimes themselves, what they do know is that Donald Trump was best friends with the man that they did see commit actual crimes for over 20 years after the crimes had become public knowledge. Again, Jeffrey Epstein's membership at Mar-a-Lago being open and active till 2007. And if you go back and look at the timelines of when it became publicly known, of when Donald Trump was supposedly told that Jeffrey Epstein was poaching underage girls from his spa, illegally working at Mar-a-Lago, then you can see that even the fucking, even just his relationship, even just his what do you call it when you're in close, even his proximity to Jeffrey Epstein is enough to put a shadow over Donald Trump, to say that we definitely need to see what's in the rest of these files, right? We definitely need to know why 1,000 different officers were tasked in blacking out Donald Trump's name in all of these fucking files. Just so happens before they were to release 33,000 pages of information, 97 or 98% of which was already publicly known information, right? So Bindergate 2.0 without the fucking binders.
I never had to put my face on camera so that someone would listen to me.
I want to first get to Sky and Amanda and Danny.
Did I just say Sam Cedar Raid? Yeah, I wish. I appreciate you, Bob. That's a nice try. You thought you were going to slip that one in there? You thought you were going to just slip that in there past me? Sam Cedar Raid. Oh, man, that'd be great. Tell Emma and everybody working over at the Majority Port I said hi, Bob, all right? Appreciate it. Tell Sammy I'm a big fan. Sorry.
Who are here representing your sister, Virginia Giuffre. Danny, Sky, what message does it send to be here with this group in this, what, as Liz described, this almost show of strength?
And it's such a fucking shame. Can we all just admit that it's such a fucking shame that these people even have to endure this? Just like the woman previously said, the fact that she even has to come out to speak about something that happened to her at the age of 14 in 2003, something that should have been prosecuted and handled fucking decades ago, and now has resulted in the loss of this gentleman's sister. And now he has to speak on her account, on her behalf, sitting with the other victims, or some of the other victims in this case. Like, it would fucking, like, it bugs the shit out of me that these people even are put in this position. Like, our society is so corrupt and unjust that they are forced to be on NBC and ABC to have to relive these moments, either, through their sister or, what they experienced themselves is just, it's truly disgusting and says a lot about, where we still are as a society and how far we still have to go.
I am so honored to be here with you guys. She would be here. She'd be screaming, And I think, they said it best. It's like, if I could really say what we're looking for out of this is justice, looking for accountability. And I think it's, we really have to start questioning, what do we stand for? So, it means the world to be here with you, all of you. And, I think this is only the beginning of what's really to come, because showing a force like this, they have to listen now.
Some of you had not met before today. Am I right in understanding that? This is your first time for some of you meeting each other.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. And Wendy, yeah, take a beat. No, because this is your first time. You have never before spoken publicly about your experience.
Correct.
I'm going to ask you to share some of your experience now. What were your interactions with Jeffrey
And I think that right there should show the gravitas of the moment. The fact that some of these women who have never spoken up publicly now feel the need, now feel the time is right, where they have now seen so much injustice, so much fucking corruption, and so much cover up being perpetrated by this government in hopes of protecting one man in that's leading our fucking government right now, but in turn is now protecting hundreds, if not thousands, of other high profile individuals that still, like I say, walk amongst us, while these victims have to, deliberate whether or not they're going to come out and interrupt their lives once more by coming on NBC and ABC and having to relive these stories and put their faces on camera and, expose themselves to the MAGA backlash that they know they'll be receiving on social media through death threats. It's crazy.
Christine, what can you tell us?
My interactions, if you guys have followed or know Jenna's story, Jenna is one of my best friends from middle school, I would say. And it's pretty much the same story in that aspect.
How old were you?
I was 14.
And how did you first encounter either Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell?
Through friends. It was very normal, I guess. Through friends.
And
very normal. I mean, just to even, and I feel so bad that it feels normal for her that as a 14-year-old child, for her to be randomly introduced to this, fucking high-profile, powerful pedophile with connections to supposedly governments in regimes all over the world, who is known for trafficking children, known for preying upon children. So it's just a shame that for her, it felt normal at that time for her to be introduced to a monster or monsters such as Ghislaine Maxwell, such as Jeffrey Epstein at the age of 14 years old.
Where were you? This was in Florida?
Yes.
And did you go to the home in Palm Beach? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, I went to the home in Palm Beach.
Okay. And what were you involved in there? What did he ask you to do?
I'm not really comfortable answering that.
Okay.
It's the same as if you follow the story, you know what I was asked to do.
How did you extract yourself from this abuse?
I moved very quickly. My family moved me out of Florida, so I exited that world and had no access to it, thankfully.
And how did you cope with that trauma?
You just put it behind you.
And thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for that. I appreciate that, brother. Great idea. Great idea. Thank you, dude.
And don't think about it.
Is that what you did?
Yeah. Until it was brought up that, hey, this is a big deal in 2019, I think.
16 years later, 16 years later. I know this is tough for a lot of people to watch, myself included. So I'll do my best in trying to, like I said, like I did yesterday, try to break this up a little bit and we'll go, let's see if we can kind of go back and forth with calling out, with, listening to what these women have to say, with also calling out the right-wing propaganda that has lent itself to what the press conference was saying. So let's see if we can just call out a little bit of this asshole. This is again Charlie Kirk addressing what he's calling huge Epstein bombshells. Listen to come, but there's a huge twist. What he's going to try to say is again that one moment that I highlighted in that NBC interview with the Epstein survivors and the Ghislaine Maxwell survivors there. In which the specific people in front of the reporter did not happen to see Donald Trump commit any crimes. And he's using that as justification to get Donald Trump off the hook in this whole case. So, again, let's just call this out. I just want to see if I can kind of, break up what is obviously a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, depressing story that is very important is very important to cover. So, doing my best here, folks. I am. I appreciate it. Let's see if we can get into a little bit of this.
Okay, everybody, we're here at the Bitcoin.com studio. That is the Bitcoin.com studio.
The Bitcoin.com studio. It's funny. Every time I hear something like that, all I can think is TYT in the Poly Market studio. It's funny how that, the connections work there and how when you take money from hack billionaires and rename your studio after trying to call yourself an independent station and, I think Evan raised something like $400,000 from a crowdfunding off of your fans and then again taken anyways. But the Bitcoin.com studio here is going to apparently give you the straight truth without anybody in the background swaying his opinions or beliefs.
It's been, say, a week or two probably since we've covered the Epstein situation. We were covering a lot of...
A week or two? When was it, actually? Can you indulge me, ladies and gentlemen? When was it that Charlie Kirk said that he was no longer covering this? Charlie Kirk, no longer covering Epstein. When was that? Seems like it was like a month ago, right? Had to have been. Let's see here. Seems like it was roughly a month ago. Yeah, here we go. Which one was this? Stop, pause, share tab instead, share the studio. This was MSNBC when? Charlie Kirk falls in line, says, I'm done talking about Epstein for time being. This is a month ago. Charlie Kirk said that. This was 83,000 views 1 month ago, which means it could be even more than a month ago because I don't think it updates till the next month. So it could be even over a month. So I don't know what. I'd have to go back in Charlie Kirk's videos and see how much he's actually been talking. Oh, what's up, Peter? What's up, brother? Good to see you, dude. Thank you for stopping by. Always good to see you, my man. All right, let's see if we can get back into this. But yeah, I'm curious because it's at least been a month since Charlie Kirk said he was not going to talk about this anymore. So let's see what brought him up out of his fucking dungeon. How, what made him crawl his huge head from under that little rock that he's been hiding under. Let's go.
Other stories. And the media, they were waiting for this. You see, Congress, they brought in a lot of the Epstein victims, and it's undoubtedly terrible what Epstein did to the underage high school girls and groomed them and sexually abused them. They're bringing in all
to just call out Jeffrey Epstein in this situation is, again, I think showing all of his cards right off the bat. Do we not know about Prince Andrew's involvement? Do we not know about several other high-profile individuals' involvement through the picture evidence, photographic evidence, at least? Flight log evidence, at least? To say that, to pin this all on Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein is absurd and is obviously not something that's going to float, not even by MAGA in their fucking lack of standards and principles. They're not even going to let that one fly. But here's Charlie, again, trying to offer up an olive branch by, on one hand, saying it's egregious and crazy and it's tragic what Jeffrey Epstein was supposedly have done. What he supposedly did to these children and women and underage girls alike. But there's a piece in there where clearly it's only him and only Ghislaine Maxwell that we have to blame. Nobody else is involved, which is I think he's trying to lay out. So it's horrendous, but let's also get off the hook. Let's also, free up all of these probably hundreds, if not thousands of other perpetrators that were engaged in, seeking out Jeffrey Epstein because of his, proximity to underage kids in his ability to pimp them out and shit,
These Epstein victims. Interestingly, one of them is a man. So that's breaking news, at least to me. I don't quite know all the details surrounding that.
Well, the details are the man, at least one of them, is the brother of Virginia Giuffre, the one that supposedly committed suicide, because of everything that she was put through. So yes, it's her brother there forced to represent Virginia because she can no longer represent herself. You prick.
And NBC News thought they have their moment. It is the media. They want nothing more than to be able to tie this to Donald Trump. They bring all of these Epstein victims, one after the other after the other.
And I don't think this question is even so much as trying to tie this to Donald Trump. It seems more like journalistic integrity to ask the question of the victims, considering the reporting on Donald Trump in the past, considering we know Donald Trump's behavior in the past, in his lack of respect towards women. And again, his name in the flight logs, him owning Jeffrey Epstein's plane, his being friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years, never living more than a fucking a pitching wedge away from Jeffrey Epstein, allowing Jeffrey Epstein to poach underage kids that worked illegally at the spa at Mar-a-Lago in order to use for his sex trafficking purposes. And we're just supposed to, I guess, let him off the hook somehow here because, as a part of journalistic integrity, NBC asked, the few victims that they had in front of them if they had ever seen firsthand Donald Trump ever commit any crimes or engaged in any criminality. And they said no. Does not absolve him of crimes. Does not mean that is everybody that's involved in this. That's not all the victims. That's not everybody that was witness or, just happened to be in these places at the same time that saw things go down. There's a lot more to it, which is why we continue to call for the release of all the Epstein files, of all of the files, unredacted. Donald Trump doesn't get to black out his name wherever they see it. That's why we want them all released, and you guys keep at every turn stonewalling, slow turning, slow rolling. We released 33,000 pages. All of it, I know you guys have already known the information, but, still, it's a lot of pages.
Big moment. The media is just waiting for a metaphorical kill shot on Donald Trump. Amazingly, of all the questions they could ask, this is the one, but in some ways, I'm kind of glad they asked it. In kind of a sick and twisted way. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they were able to air it out because this was a swing and a miss and a media loss right here. And this kind of goes to show that there's a lot of misinformation and half-truths that are circulating around this entire thing, especially in the proximity of President Trump, especially.
Or does it seem like people are telling the truth? Or does it seem like the network is asking the question, got the answer, and we're happy with the answer? Or at least we're willing to accept the answer that they received from the people sitting in front of them. As many complaints as we have with the mainstream media and the way that they both sides everything and the way that they've handled Donald Trump's time in American politics and beyond, foreign politics as well. I do believe that this is NBC asking a journalistic question that needed to be asked, considering the times, considering the conspiracy, considering the cover-up now engaged by the DOJ and the Trump regime, and took the answers that they got and accepted the answers they got and didn't seem to try to stir the pot in any way. That's what I got from that, at least, So
here it is, NBC News, ready to go. Try to get Donald Trump. We got him dead to rights. We got the panel. We got them all lined up.
No, I know there is another man on the panel, Lisa. I was just the only one that I'm aware of who it is the brother of Virginia Giuffre. I know that there was another gentleman sitting in front of him. I'm not 100% certain on who it was, so I couldn't speak on that. That's all. But I'm aware that there is somebody else.
This is going to be it. The NBC producers, they're waiting and they're waiting. We're going to have our moment. We're going to play cut 400.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
No.
Right. And again, we haven't even made it to that point in the interview yet, so I'm not sure what else is said after that. But it seems like Charlie Kirk was pretty quick to cut that clip after the first no. So I'll be, I'm curious to see what else is said there. But even if that's the case, even if nobody there, even what is it, 8, so 7, because one of them is not a victim, or 2 of them are not a victim. So let's just say 8. We'll say 8, right? 8 out of the how many victims in this case? 8 out of the how many underage kids? How many of the women that were groomed and pimped out by Jeffrey Epstein to high-profile people all over the world? Did you just ask that question too? Was that in totality of every? No. So again, to use this as justification to say that Donald Trump has no involvement whatsoever is fucking outrageous and ridiculous and needs to be called out, which is why I'm doing so here. And again, you're probably going to see this on the right. And, if you're engaged in debate, if you're engaged in, fucking arguments with people on the right-wing side of your family that happen to watch this bullshit, you can be damn sure that this is an argument that they're going to pull out. And I just want you to, be able to combat them with, tell me how many victims are reportedly, supposedly in this case. Okay. So how many did NBC just ask that question to? Okay. So let me know when we ask everybody. Let me know when all of the files are released and we get all of the information. Let's talk then. How about that? Until then, it looks like it's the president of the United States with the motive and the ability to stop these files from being released that is actively engaged in a government conspiracy, a government cover-up to do just that. So until then, I think I'll stick with my argument. You can stick with yours. You can keep defending the pedophiles, and I'll keep trying to lock them up. How about that? Makes sense? All right, let's see if we can should we go back to just a little bit more? I know we got a ton to cover. Let's see if I can do this time-wise. So it's 12. Again, we only get an hour left. I've already been through an hour. All right, well, let's see if we can move forward. Then let's see if we can move forward because the train needs to keep moving along. I'm going to drop this chat. I'm going to drop this link, copy, paste in the chat, which is the NBC, and I'll also throw in there the ABC as well. Let me see if I can find the ABC one. Share, copy. This next one is the ABC interview as well. That way, if you guys have the time and the inclination, you can sit down and watch that all the way through. Unfortunately, I'm kind of constrained by time here. In stepping on other people's toes, I do not want to do. So let's see if we can move on to, hopefully this doesn't get me in any copyright issues. It hasn't in the past, so I think we should be okay as long as I give my input on it, as long as I, play it all the way through and there's no copyright music on it. I think we should be okay, but this is just Jimmy Kimmel's, and this has all of the late night shows, like I said, seem to be killing it in views, at least the last couple episodes. This one's already got 2.155 million views in the last couple days. Looked like Stephen Colbert, 2.5 million views from a day ago. Seth Meyers, 1.1 million views from a day ago. So let's just see if we can catch a little bit of the intro here. And then, again, we'll move on to our next story, which I believe is the disastrous fucking time that RFK had in front of the the Senate Finance Committee today. And then we'll see if we can take a look at that. All right, let's see if we can hop into just a little bit of this. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I do appreciate all the support there. Now, was this like their first show back? I feel like I haven't been seeing clips. I'm not too hip or up to date on the late night shows. Were they on like some hiatus or something like that? I know the only thing I've been kind of paying attention to is what's been going on with Stephen Colbert. Maybe I'm just kind of out of date and they just haven't been on my YouTube algorithm as of late. But I just was curious because they did. I mean, that's a lot of millions of views there for all 3 shows. All right, let's go. Yeah, let's see here. Yes, Jimmy had a guest host while he was off. Okay, I got you. Thank you, Linda. And thank you, everybody else. Appreciate you guys letting me know. Yeah, I think I've been out of touch with that one. I think they knew. YouTube must have known that I only like watching it when Kimmel's on there, so they haven't been sending it to me. Audio distorted on clip? No, it's not distorted. I'm trying to fast forward because they give him kind of a standing O, and I'm trying to get through as much of this as possible. So no, the audio's okay.
All right, that's good. That's good. I'm happy we still have a show too, I guess. Well, thank you very much. Due to a clerical error at the White House, we are back to work. I am back to work. I guess you've been back here. Did you miss me, Guillermo?
Of course, a lot, Jimmy. I felt lonely without you.
Did you really?
Come on, you gotta love Guillermo. Gotta love Guillermo.
Yeah.
Did you have feelings of loneliness?
Yes.
You know, there's medication you can
All
take.
right, get to the monologue. Get to the monologue. We got a lot to cover, Jimmy. My apologies, but get to the mono. Here we go.
A lot of places this summer. We traveled quite a bit. I was in Idaho doing this. I was in New York. We went to see my friend Jeff Ross on Broadway. I was in Wyoming. I was in Palm Springs. I even got to be part of a big meeting in Washington, D.C.
Christy?
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you. Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor.
Thank you for saving college football, by the way.
No, ladies and gentlemen, you are not watching North Korean propaganda. No, ladies and gentlemen, you are not watching the government of China, fucking absolutely kiss the ass of Xi Jinping. Nope, you're not watching that. What you're watching is the current government of the United States of America slob the knob of Donald Trump. Like he was, again, the authoritarian dictator of his cult-like regime.
We're all very grateful.
You are the single finest candidate since the Nobel this Nobel Award was ever.
Pause. You might want to pause on that one, Steve, as the kids are saying now. That's a pause.
Talked about. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I want you to know sometimes when I watch you striding across the White House lawn so confidently with so much masculinity, I'll admit it, I get sexually aroused. Thank you for breathing life back into my once slumbering penis.
That was very well said.
You know what?
All right. I mean, I like that they were all kind of taking their shots at him. It does go on, but like I said, let me see if we'll go to the next one here.
Crazy, it's different when you do it every night. You get it little by little. I mean, just yesterday, there's this video of what seemed to be garbage bags being thrown out of the window of the Lincoln bedroom. That's the White House.
A good pause moment here where you can actually see what's being thrown out. But, it was funny that Donald Trump came out at a press conference, said it was AI, but the White House had already put out a statement saying that it wasn't AI. Right. So already Donald Trump contradicting what his own White House had put out as a statement, again, leading to more questions being asked as to why they would try to cover it up or what they were throwing out. I think there was some speculation online that went hand in hand as to why Donald Trump wasn't seen for a few days, as to maybe he had some illness that may have caused him to, prematurely shit himself, prematurely dump on the bed.
Dumps, big massive dumps.
How his bed looks. You can pretty much imagine throughout the orange stains that come from his face when he's twisting and turning on the white sheets. But apparently, or it was reported, or suggested, or somebody thought of it, or whatever. It was a possibility that Donald Trump was sick over the weekend, and they were throwing the bed sheets out because they didn't want to carry them stinky motherfuckers through the White House. Because once you soil those types of sheets, they ain't coming back.
Dumps, big massive dumps.
Official response from the White House said it was maintenance work being done while Trump was off on one of his many golf weekends. But Trump is even contradicting his own White House now.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the
Of course, is the clip we were just talking about where he talks about how it's AI.
No, that's probably AI generated. Where was the window? Let me see. Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows they're all sealed. You can't open them. One of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens
now,
really
let me just say, I said the other day that I thought I had heard that the windows were, but if you think about it, it's probably not the safest thing in the world to have all the windows in a building sealed shut, or, you know, having no ability whatsoever to remove them. It might be a pain in the ass. It might be a little bit more laborious than just, you know, simply unlatching the lock and lifting up the window. But in some way, shape, or form, you would think that these fucking windows have to open, right? Because if you're trapped in a fire in some sort of an emergency, you know, fire code would probably say that these windows, you know, would have to either be unscrewed or, you know, unlatched, or fucking somehow, some way they would need to be able to be broken, or whatever the fuck, you know, whatever it is. But I do want to say what's kind of weird is, if I go back to the footage, if I may, and if I can put this big on the screen, what you do notice, or what's at least hard to tell, but if this window was slid up, like if anybody went to like an old school back in the day and you had these windows and you lift it up, you can a lot of the times tell that the bottom pane is lifted up into the top pane, because you'll see how the white panes on the window, those will be like doubled up because they don't actually sit flush. Like the bottom window will always be a little bit behind, so you'll see like the double panes of the actual pane. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that on the top. So it could be very well that bottom panel, the bottom pane of the window, has to be removed entirely in order to get this type of thing done, which would lend itself to the fact that he thinks it can't be opened. And meanwhile, it's not just kind of lifted up like a normal window, because what I'm talking about is, I don't know if you can see my mouse. You probably can't see my mouse, but on the very top, like say if you lifted the window up, you would be able to see the panes that were on the bottom lifted up, and you'd see them, right next to the top panes. You know what I'm saying? So I think it looks like to me like the bottom pane was totally removed, and it's just the top pane sitting there, the top portion of the window. Sorry, I went back a little bit and see if I can fast forward.
Those windows they're all sealed. You can't open them. One of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI.
That's right. I told Eric I didn't forget.
And I don't want to risk too much of the copyright material, but not that it is copyright, but I don't want to risk getting too much involved into that. But, you know, you can see Donald Trump, again, not afraid to say, hey, you know, when we want to use AI to fake something, or, you know, when I want to say something's AI, if something you guys caught us in makes us look bad, then we're going to use it that way. But other than that, you know, it's good. You know, it's good when we can use it for ourselves, but, you know, it's also bad when other people can say it's used against us. I don't know. It's just Donald Trump being, once again, open and blatant about his fucking inability to have principles and morals, his inability to follow the law, his inability to care whatsoever about who's harming who, or what harms who, as long as it's beneficial to him or his family or his wallet or his golf courses or whatever the fuck. All right, let's see if we can hop on to our next story that I wanted to cover, which was the absolute bitch slapping that RFK received. And there's a ton of clips coming out of this one. Let's see if we can just pop through a few of them here. Let me see if I can pop this on the screen for you guys. And again, this is just some of them that were posted. Too many to go through all of them. Look at all these. Look at all these. Just every single one of them getting an upper hand on RFK. Why don't we start with this? There was a couple good ones from Elizabeth Warren. I'll start with one from her. See if I can put this on the screen nice and big for you guys. We'll start here, where Kennedy grilled by Senate over CDC vaccine moves. Again, firing a woman that he had just a month ago been standing next to, said was unimpeachable. You know, and now all of a sudden she's the world's biggest liar. Because of her, again, stance on vaccines. We'll see here.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication, which is
right. So again, just basically just saying that he flat out lied 2.3 seconds before that.
Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like
and
this.
That is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
This is the same way in which the hurdles put in front of healthcare recipients now. The same way Republicans saying, well, we're not taking it away. We're just making it much more difficult for people to get it. We're just making it pretty much impossible for them to get it if they can't afford it, because now their insurance companies won't cover it because we're not recommending it as a policy from the CDC. So now, again, millions of people will not be able to get access to life-saving vaccines, because their health insurance won't cover it, because RFK Jr. won't support it and the CDC won't support it. Ladies, should I be doing something that doesn't support what I believe in?
I'm sorry?
All right, let's see. So that was that same one. Let's see if there was, I think there was a couple more from this one too. Yeah, there was another one here from Liz Warren, and I think Bernie Sanders had his way with them. Again, there was a ton of clips from this. We're not going to be able to get into all of them, but I just kind of want to show you the gist of how this went. Didn't go well for RFK. Yeah.
Get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate?
Now, just you may not even be up to speed, involved, up to date in what's going on with this whole process, right? But just from these couple clips, does it seem like it went well for RFK? Does it seem like it went well? Does it seem like he had the answers necessary to satisfy the senators? Doesn't seem like it's going well. Doesn't seem like it's going well. What are you going to do there? You don't really know.
Product for which there is no clinical data.
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It depends on the state. It depends on the states.
Right, depends on the states, which means the people in those states will be affected by the policies of the states. And if the policy of the state is to not cover that type of medical fucking cost, then the people themselves will be will have to foot the bill. And if they can't foot the bill, they will then not be able to get these potentially life-saving vaccines or whatever medical treatment is next on the chopping block as far as the CDC is concerned. All right. And then I think there was a few more in here too. Let's see here. So should imagine to take a hepatitis vaccine. Yeah, there was a ton of them. This is the one where he's questioned about the woman that he just fired. Let me see if I can get into this one. This is a good one too.
Medicare will still pay for them, and Medicaid will still pay for them.
Head of the CDC that if she refused to sign off on your changes to the childhood vaccine schedule, that she had to resign?
No, I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, "Are you a trustworthy person?" And she said no. So if you had an employee.
Does anybody fucking believe that? Does anybody believe that? RFK asked the head of the CDC, or excuse me if I'm getting that wrong, but whatever position that Elizabeth Warren just mentioned. And he said that no, he fired her because he asked her if she was a trustworthy person and she said no. Does that sound like something that's plausible inside the federal government, especially at the CDC? Hey, just a quick question. I know you're one of the the highest ranking members of the regarding health and the health of our fucking population. But just a quick question. I know this is random, but I shouldn't be asking it. It's kind of weird that I'm even asking. But are you trustworthy? And then all the person responds, go, fuck no, absolutely not. I got here. I slept my way to the top, or I don't know, I stole my way to this position, or I cheated my way. Like, what are that you expect us to believe that that's the fucking interaction you had with this woman, and that's why? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same woman that RFK called unimpeachable about a month ago.
Told you they weren't trustworthy. Would you ask them to resign, Senator? Medicare will still.
And let me see now if there's one. There's a Bernie Sanders clip here where he kind of. Nope, there's one more here where Elizabeth Warren goes after him for the firing here. Let's talk about it.
I'm sorry, but this is not what she has said publicly. She has said.
I'm not surprised about that.
So you're saying she's lying?
Yes. Every conversation I had with her, there were
let me get
witnesses.
this straight. This is the
Oh,
same
what a dummy. What a dummy. I should probably put it on the screen for you. That would make sense. Here we go.
person that less than a month earlier, you stood next to her and described her as unimpeachable.
Right,
And
this
you had
is the
full
same lady.
confidence in her.
Full confidence, unimpeachable. Now this is the same person that less than a month later is a complete liar, said outright she was an untrustworthy person. Like the bumbling, corrupt nature of this administration is just, it's so blatant and in your face. And it's so, thank you, Sheldon. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate that. And just so fucking inexcusable that, it's on one hand, there's almost nothing you can do but laugh. But then on the other hand, you're like, okay, no, millions of people's lives are at stake. We're talking about geopolitics regarding millions and millions and millions of people's lives, healthcare for millions and millions of people. You realize really fucking quick that there is nothing funny about it. But it's crazy that it's allowed to continue to get to this point. It really, really is. But I think you guys kind of get the gist of how this went for RFK. I think there's one more here that I wanted to play from Bernie. Let's get one in here from Bernie, and then we'll head on to our next story. But this was, again, a disaster for RFK all the way around. I think even some of the Republicans were going after him. It wasn't good. Let's go.
Just want to pick up on Senator Warren's point. Are you telling us that the former head of CDC went to you, you asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said, no, I am not a trustworthy person?
Are you telling me right now you want us to believe that you went to the head of the CDC, you asked her outright if she was a trustworthy person, and you want us to believe right here, right now, Mr. RFK, that she said to you, to your face, no. That's what you want us to believe.
Say, no, I'm not a trustworthy person. She said, no. I'm giving a quote. And I asked her
no, 1 second.
He answered the question with just repeating the sense of the question, like just repeating his statement to begin with. Like, excuse me. That is not what I asked you. That is not the question that I asked you.
But you're also repeating now that she is a liar, correct? What you wrote in the Wall Street Journal.
If she wrote that I fired her because she refused to sign on in advance for the ASIP committee, no, that's not accurate.
All right, so you're calling her a liar, and I look forward to her coming before the Help Committee, maybe this committee as well.
All right, so that was Bernie getting his shots in as well. I mean, just fucking a laughable assertion there from RFK, right? Just an absolutely laughable assertion. All right, let's see if we can get on to our next story, what we were going to talk about. So we got, we got to get into this. All right, we got about 45 to get through it. We might be able to get through a couple more things as well, because I'm not sure how long this is going to take. But this is one for the record books, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, let me see if I can get.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I know we have heard lately of reports of Alex Jones's mental collapse, but that is not true. We have not seen anything up until this date, up until this point, ladies and gentlemen. But now we have seen it for real. It has happened, and all it took was a little spat at Infowars in Owen Shroyer, Evan Shroyer, whatever that fucking pig degenerate his name is, that pig fucker, lunatic, evil spirit, that demon spirit, that evil person that he is, to finally throw me over the edge, ladies and gentlemen. Finally throw me for a goddamn loop.
Sorry, my apologies. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Alex Jones has finally gone off the deep end, and I have the evidence here to show you. This is fucking nuts. Okay, this is truly something fucking to witness and to behold. The downfall of Alex Jones continues, and I don't just mean physically, but the mental decline is, again, chef's kiss, especially for a degenerate piece of shit like this asshole. But again, this is a video from Too Lazy to Try, has been garnering a lot of attention, obviously. I just want to play a little bit. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit and see if I can highlight the important moments. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but there are a few moments in here that are wild and that we need to talk about. But make sure you hit that like button. Definitely not for Alex Jones, but for Blunt Politics. So let's see if we can get into a little bit of this video and see what the whole crash out, Alex Jones's crash out is about. What is it? No sound? Hold on. Time out. My apologies. My apologies. I don't understand why it would just be muted all of a sudden. All right, here we go.
Elitist, arrogant dirtbag. Owen Shroyer is scum. You think I'm here to be shit on? Do I look like a fucking toilet to you?
Now, is it me, ladies and gentlemen, or is YouTube not allowing me to put the volume up? Like, what? What the fuck? Are these problems that only I deal with? Like, is that just tricking me? Go up. Go up. Well, I want to go past that point. All right. Well, hopefully you guys can hear it. If you can't hear it, if it's too quiet, let me know. I'll try to let you know when I'm interrupted in case you have to turn it up. But I don't know why. My computer says everything's as high as it can go. So hopefully it's just a glitch.
There's no more filter. It's gone. And anybody fucks with me is going to get the full truth. And nothing but it, so help me God. And then you want to try to stab your mother in the back because you're a big boy leaving the nest.
All right, so I probably should just give you a little backstory into this so you know at least some of what's going on coming out of this lunatic's mouth. So apparently, Owen Shroyer, again, a person not of importance enough for me to take up space in my brain with his actual name. So if I'm getting that wrong, good. I don't give a fuck. But one of this guy's asshole minions that has apparently been under the wing of Alex Jones for a long time at Infowars has apparently decided to make the switch, has apparently decided to either start his own thing or just leave from Alex Jones altogether. And that has just sent Alex Jones off the fucking deep end. He has completely lost his shit. He's doing everything he possibly can to affect the downfall of Owen or Evan or whatever fucking Shroyer, whatever his name is. And again, he's losing his shit on his own shows. Let me see if I'll fast forward to just a little bit of this and get to maybe he talks about it here. So I'll play the beginning. That way we get the gist of it. And then I'll fast forward to where he interrupts his own son's show and fucking loses it in front of everybody. Here, check this out.
Well, guess what? You know what your mother is going to do? Piss on you.
All right, so it looks like Alex Jones is going through it again. You know, it's been a rough past few months for him with all the Epstein stuff, and now this. A longtime employee of his, Owen Shroyer, who's been with him for a decade, just announced he's leaving, which obviously Alex isn't handling very well, and he had a complete meltdown over it, because also Owen did a 5-hour...
Look at that face, dude. What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck is that, dude? Oh my goodness gracious. Looks like he hasn't taken a shit in 3 months, and all of a sudden he's trying to just force out what's fucking bound up in his stomach.
Live stream addressing why he's leaving, and he said he felt like Alex was pressuring him too much to not talk about certain things and to be more positive about Trump. So that's what really sad.
Oh, that's okay. That's another aspect to it as well. Okay, that's another aspect to it, another layer onto the story as well that I probably should, fill you guys in on. Apparently, for Alex Jones's standards, Alex Jones's taste, Owen Shroyer, whatever, motherfucker, is apparently too anti-Trump now. He's too willing to call out Trump, and apparently he's too pro-Gaza and anti-Israel now, which again is leading to this feud. I wanted to add that little part in as well.
off, and in the middle of another show on Infowars, he crashed it just to start flipping out about Owen. And it was
Again,
really
this is his son's, I don't know if it's his son's show, but this asshole that you see in the bald guy, right? In that general direction of where my finger's pointing. This guy here, this is apparently Alex Jones's son. I didn't know, but apparently that's him. And then the guys who actually has the show is this guy on the right. Now listen to this and watch this crash out as Alex Jones just walks on set and starts ranting and raving like a lunatic.
I mean, Alex was having a complete breakdown here, and you can tell he's actually really pissed. This isn't an act. And he said he even started breaking down crying when Owen called him and demanded a raise to stay with Infowars.
I'm here to censor.
Oh no, he's here. We've crossed the line.
You should launch a new independent show and claim that I censored you for years and get 1 million viewers and betray me. And you're allowed to lie about me any way you want.
You know I love you.
No,
Look, let's reject the let's reject the grab.
Even his son is like, come on, dude. Like, don't do this. Like, don't fucking do it. I see what's coming. I see how red-faced you just came out here right now. Looks like you're about to burst. Please, let's not do this while the cameras are rolling. But apparently Alex Jones doesn't listen to his son.
I'm using this as a case point. You understand that? Mm-hmm. How much have I come in and censored you over the years?
Yeah, not enough, frankly. I'd say some things that shouldn't be said.
Have I ever censored you?
Never once. Literally never once.
Hey, if you want to quit, have a publicity stunt and lie about me, I'll forgive you, okay?
Well,
I know. I'm just saying I expect it.
Again, using this guy's show here, fucking crashing this guy's show as he's doing an interview with his son who just metaphorically blew his brains out on TV there with a metaphorical weapon. Just kind of using this guy's show as a way to get at Owen Shroyer, to combat Owen Shroyer, to demean and denigrate Owen Shroyer. Again, Owen Shroyer, I'm not somebody that I give a fuck about. Like, I wouldn't care about him as opposed to a piss hole in the snow. Not somebody that I'm going to defend, but the fact that he's just bursting onto any one of his shows that he's got going on his own platform to randomly start bashing on somebody that worked for him for years is, again, indicative of the crash out that we're seeing here from Alex Jones.
No one's done it. I thought I was taking a high road until I actually started watching it. And it's like...
Ladies and gentlemen, and if you think this is crazy, if you think it's gotten crazy, you just wait. Ladies and gentlemen, you just wait. You ain't seen fucking nothing yet. The demons are only yet to be released.
Can we sing a song?
Hey, when I go on the air, I'm letting you have it, Shroyer. You stabbed your brother in this operation in the back, and you're a fucking liar.
Can we sing a song?
Fucking asshole.
Can we sing a song?
Shit. I don't ever get involved in infighting, but I've known somebody 10 years, and they've been my friend.
Wait a minute. Did he come back? Was that a clip? How did he get back on camera so quick? Wasn't he just walking away? Hold on. I could have sworn he was just walking away. Did he walk away or did he not walk away?
Shroyer, you stabbed your brother in this operation in the back, and you're a fucking liar.
Can we sing a song?
Fucking asshole.
Can we sing a song?
Shit. I don't ever get involved in infighting.
All right, it was a
but
cut. It was a cut. I was like, holy shit. Fucking, for a fat guy, even though he's lost a couple of LBs over with the Ozempic, he's pretty light on his feet if he can get back in that situation in the blink of an eye. But he wasn't done. He wasn't done.
Years, and they've been my friend, but he's gotten really dark, didn't talk to the crew the last 2 years. And so it's like a different person. I'm not here to be the villain for somebody's lie. So wait till you hear his phone call me yesterday. He literally talked to me like it was a crack whore. He was a pimp. He's like, yeah, well, if you're desperate, pay me more, I'll stay. But I'm going to promote my new show on Infowars, huh?
Let's take the high road.
Really nice. I might do a week.
Chris, I'd almost be apt to go along with that if it weren't for the next segment that we're going to play and the crash out that happens live on camera by Alex Jones. Because, again, the response from Owen Shroyer, as I think is shown in this video, is complete and total opposite of what Alex Jones is laying out. So it's not like Owen's engaging in this and, like, combating this. Like, he's just basically wishing people at Infowars well. He's just kind of saying, thanks for the time there. Like, he's really not even trying to play it up, which kind of leads me to believe it's not scripted, because why wouldn't he use that to his advantage to kind of, propel and perpetuate his new show, whatever he's got going on, his new venture. You know what I'm saying? So, I could very well be wrong. I'm wrong a lot, and it's probably going to happen continuously in the future, but that's just kind of what I read from it.
I was like, man, this is really hurting my feelings, dude. No, it's all right. You don't have to come in. I hung up, started fucking crying, and then he goes on fucking air and lies about me. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. I won't fucking take people stabbing me in the back anymore. Fuck you. Get ready.
Yeah, and then he went on his own show and kept going off on
Listen,
him. I think
wait.
the live stream Owen did is what really got to him because it got a lot of attention. A lot of people took Owen's side. And he talked about how Alex kept telling him he's too negative and anti-Trump and anti-Israel. Also, he felt like Alex was trying to influence his show too much. So when Alex saw that and all the people supporting him, he just snapped because also he thinks Owen is doing this to drum up attention for himself and his new show.
And, you know, Alex had been coming into my show.
I'm just gonna skip because I know I don't have to subject it to the whole drama bullshit. I just want to go to where Alex addresses this on his show and check out the fucking epic nature of this crash out by Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out.
In Israel, which is obviously a bad look. So when Alex got on air, he just went absolute apeshit over it. It was hilarious. Like this was a generational crash out. Even for Alex Jones, this was wild. I've never seen anything like it. And it's just funny. Owen leaves and is like, yeah, my boss was a bit much. It was difficult working with him. And then his boss responds by calling him a piece of shit, traitor, scumbag, and just goes berserk over it. Like, I don't know if this is the best way to win people over if you're trying to prove you're a good employer. But I guess the gloves are off here. And Alex said he's using this to level up.
And I will no longer let lesser men try to build their resume by claiming I'm a traitor when they're scumbag Benedict Arnolds. Pieces of shit. Wannabe elitists. Arrogant scumbags. I'm not arrogant. I'm on a power trip. I'm in a total commitment against evil. I'm pouring out my guts, my soul, my family, everything I've got committed to this, and I will not have pieces of fucking shit lie about me and say I'm not true. I will fucking destroy you, scum. All of you.
I will destroy you, scum. All of you evil motherfuckers.
Definitely should have done it in this voice. It would have been so much more compelling. He definitely should have done it in this voice. It would have been so much more compelling. Oh, the power compelled you. The power compelled
Oh shit.
Fuck you. I have sworn on the altar of God, total resistance against every form of tyranny, against the mind of men. And I told everyone 2 weeks ago, I'm leveling up. And it's scary. Because I'm a scary person. I can outthink and outmaneuver all these people. And I just keep trying to get the general society to wake up and win. But I guess it does lie to me. I guess I am the smartest. I am the best. I am the fastest.
It looks like he saw that clip where he got back into fucking front the middle of the stage in 2 seconds.
The problem is, interlocking into this information is very frightening. So, it must be done. So I will do it. I'll never watch another movie. I get.
I will never watch another movie.
I'm never watching another fucking movie. Not Teenage Mutant Turtles, not nothing. Not Cinderella, Bambi. I'm never Bad Boys, not one Bad Boys 2, none of them. I'm not never watching another movie. I don't know why that I'm saying I'm never watching another movie as it pertains to what's going on here with Owen Shroyer and Infowars, but apparently I'm never watching another movie again.
So I have to become celibate because I can't give my energy up to sex. That's the biggest.
Oh my god. Owen left him limp. Owen left him limp. It's gotten to him so much that it left him fucking limp.
Here you got a little chubby going there.
Oh, wowzy. Strain on me because I'm a man. There is no more pleasure. There is no more pain. There is no more art. There is no more culture. There is only war. And I commit myself to total war against Satan
And I ask God to lead God and direct me and commit me to his arms and to become a complete vessel of warfare against this operation. And I repent for all my sins. And I ask now before everyone that you lift me up to be an absolute battering ram against the enemy in God's will. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Amen.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I love how he's trying to make it seem like the other person's possessed as he fucking stares off into the distance, reciting fucking, I don't know, hymns from the underworld. What? It goes on.
So everybody be on notice.
Yeah, so that was something else. And while Alex was losing his mind and going off on Owen, Owen put out this compilation of his favorite moments on the show and said it was an epic ride. I wish nothing but the best for the entire Infowars team.
He's just on the other end like, yep, great time I had over there. Appreciate all the things that you've done for me. Thank you. Oh, it's too good. Oh, it's too good. Just the ultimate crash out over there. Let's see. I think there was one more clip here that I was going to show you. This one too, just so we can round it out. Check this out.
Career.
Owen Shroyer's dead to me. If he goes on air and repents to Jesus and apologizes for being demon possessed or whatever it is he is, then I will forgive him. But he thinks that he would like absorb us as a launch pad and lie about us to make himself a victim so he could project himself and launch his own show. And then as all the articles come out and Jones censored Shroyer on Trump criticism and Israel, you are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbiter. You are a disgrace.
You are a bicycle. You are a hammer. You are a toothpick. You, my friend, are a spoon. You are a keyboard.
This guy. By me and say something like, you know, start laughing at me. Like, again, I'm not in junior high, so it didn't hurt me at that level. It hurt me that he was just like, yeah, I heard you. Yes. So, and then
he's trying to say that him laughing at him didn't hurt him at the high school level, and then went right on to say that it was the fact that he laughed at him that hurt him.
We're back the next day, and Owen just shows back up and does his show. And walks.
All right, we don't have to subject you guys to any more of that. I had to show you that crash out. Thank you, Cadillac, so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Make sure anybody receiving those 5 gifted memberships in the chat is thanking Cadillac and anybody else for that matter that was kind enough to either have donated to the chat or, you know, gifted memberships, because all of it is appreciated. All of it is very much needed. And again, goes a long way in helping this channel. So thank you to people like Patrick. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Wayne. And again, stay tuned till the end of the show, and I'll make sure that I thank everybody who either sent a Venmo up in the corner there you can take a picture of, or up here over in the chat, you know, sent a super chat, super sticker, or gifted membership milestone or anything like that. So I appreciate you guys. What else did we want to watch? Because we got a little bit of time left. We did have this. I don't know if I want to get into it, though, really. Did you guys see this one? Maybe I'll show this one just real quick while I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to play next. Yeah, I'm thinking, like I said, MTG was on with Eric Bowling. But, you know, I don't know. She's probably going to do what all of these MAGA people are doing and, you know, feign their outrage and, you know, feign the fact that they want the answers when in reality, I saw something about, I saw an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene was like touting the fact that she asked Donald Trump to have these women in the Oval Office, but she had yet to hear an answer back from Donald Trump. Oh, we heard that on Jimmy Kimmel. I think that was a clip that Jimmy Kimmel played where Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, yeah, I asked Donald Trump if we could bring these women in the Oval Office because they deserve it. And then the play, okay, what'd you hear on that? Nope, we hadn't heard anything. So, okay. So the fact that you're, again, willing to stand behind the victims, but not to the point where you're willing to call out the man that you put in charge, the man that you still support, the man that has the power, the motive, and the ability to make this stuff or hide this stuff, or like I said, engage in this government conspiracy to hide his criminalities, to hide his involvement, to hide his friends' involvement. Doesn't make sense to me, right? I don't see how you can kind of justify that, like how you can weigh that hand in hand with each other. Doesn't really make sense. Almost looks like some performative bullshit, if you ask me. Otherwise, you'd be really demanding the answers from the people that have the ability to get you the answers, right? So that's just, I don't think I'm going to highlight anything that Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say on that one, at least. But there was this one that I wanted to show, this article highlighting the whereabouts of our U.S. naval assets being deployed to the Venezuelan region. You can see here the USS Iwo Jima, an Arleigh class, a San Antonio class, another San Antonio class. This is the USS Minneapolis St. Paul. I believe there was also here, this one that you can see. This is the USS Sampson, an Arleigh class guided missile destroyer that recently went through the Panama Canal on its way to the same waters. So again, is Donald Trump really threatening war? Is he really going to use the 11 people he took out illegally? In the, 100, 200 pounds of drugs that he managed to stop from getting into this country, even though we probably could have seized those drugs anyway and gotten more information from the people transporting it had we just intercepted it, since we already had them on video surveillance the entire time from the moment they left fucking port and probably knew where they were going. So the fact that we didn't just intercept the drugs so they didn't enter the country, right? That way you could do the testing on the drugs, get more information on what kind of drugs, what's in the drugs, how they're making the drugs, and then we can kind of work our way up the level, say one of the 11 people that we murdered illegally, as the United States government could have, possibly told us or given us some information on how to work our way up the chain and eventually get back to where the drugs are made so we could, take that out. We could seize that and arrest all the people involved in that. In the manufacturing of it, which would save, I would believe, in the end, a lot more lives than, lobbing missiles and drones at 30-foot fucking speedboats with 11 people and a couple bundles of fentanyl on them, right? It's just, something that I would think here. But what to know, this is just what I wanted to get by. The USS has deployed at least 8 warships and 1 submarine to the Eastern Caribbean. U.S. satellite imagery, Newsweek's maps show USS Sampson, an Arleigh class guided missile destroyer in Panama. Also present are 2 Aegis-guided destroyers in the Caribbean, USS Gravely and USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Minneapolis St. Paul, a Freedom-class littoral combat ship. Satellite pictures on Wednesday have confirmed the presence of the USS Iwo Jima, USS San Antonio, and USS Fort Lauderdale, south of Puerto Rico. Another vessel, the submarine USS Newport News, is also in the region, although its precise location is unknown, as you would expect. Meanwhile, in the air, P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft and C-17 military transport have been confirmed. It comes as Nicolas Maduro said Wednesday his country had, quote, unwavering faith and victory in the face of U.S. onslaught, having said earlier if Venezuela were attacked, he would order an armed struggle in defense of the country. This is, I believe, the Luis Munoz Marin International Airport in Puerto Rico, showing the C-17 Globemaster and the 2 P-8 Poseidons right here. Imagery released by the Chinese aerospace intelligence company Mizar Vision shows 2 U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon and a U.S. C-17. This is another vantage point of the Jose Aponte del Torre airport, Aeropuerto in Puerto Rico, which shows 2 V-22 Ospreys, which are the ones got the rotating propellers on them. So, and this is saying experts say U.S. invasion is unlikely, but Trump's increased pressure on Maduro, whom the U.S. and most democratic countries do not recognize as Venezuela's legitimate leader following disputed elections last year, has raised questions. Jimmy Story, a former U.S. ambassador to Venezuela during Trump's first term, told the New York Times that the military might be used to take out alleged drug trafficking boats was like, quote, using a blowtorch to cook an egg. Sanctions experts, so basically overkill, right? Again, under what authority does, what constitutes an act of war? right? What constitutes an act of war now, ladies and gentlemen? I know there has been much discussion, and I believe the law surrounding that was changed after 9/11, as were a lot of laws that we really need to revisit and take a good fucking hard look at, and whether or not they've harmed or improved society, which I don't think the answer to that question should be too hard for us to figure out. But it's crazy to me that, like, we are just watching our government strike a boat with 11 suspected criminals who, again, are suspected criminals until proven guilty in a court of law, right? They can be seen doing whatever the hell you want, but until they're convicted, which is the way our judicial system works in our country, in the way that our laws should be represented. And usually the rules and regulations on the engagements of war are typically, unless fired upon, you cannot fire upon somebody else unless they're, somebody is in direct or imminent threat of death or danger, right? Obviously paraphrasing depending on the situation. But still, I don't think somebody several thousand miles away in a 30-foot fucking speedboat with, fucking 10 or 12 bundles of fentanyl is something that is warranted for a missile strike. Right. Again, more information could be gleaned from not only testing the drugs by seizing control of the drugs, by also, questioning and, interrogating the people involved. Right. I mean, I don't think you need to watch too much Law and Order or any other show for that matter to figure out that you'll probably get more information from the person if they're alive than if they're dead. Just, But what constitutes, actually, why don't we do this? Because I'd be curious, what constitutes an act of war? See here. Share this tab instead. See if you guys can check this out on the screen. A little bit of that. I'll even make it a little bigger for you. All right, so was that too much? That's too big? That's good. An act of war is a hostile action by one state against another that is significant enough to provoke a state of war or armed conflict. While traditionally defined by physical military aggression and a formal declaration, the concept is evolving, particularly with the rise of cyber attacks that can cause widespread damage but lack of traditional military characteristics. An act of war can also include actions during a declared war or armed conflict between military forces, even without a formal declaration, and under international law refers to actions that meet a threshold of military aggression and can be subject to the laws of armed conflict. So, for all intents and purposes, I would say that a missile strike, or excuse me, if I'm uninformed as to the actual weapon used to take out that boat, if it was a drone or if it was a missile, but I would think that would constitute an act of war, right? An act of aggression. Military aggression involves the use of armed military forces. Actions such as military strike or missile strike or troop deployment. Intended to initiate a war or considered sufficient cause for war, which again would be on Maduro in Venezuela to I guess determine whether or not the act is sufficient enough to be considered an act of war. Existence of armed conflict, the act occurs. No, so it's military aggression is for sure what the hell we're looking at, right? For sure, what the fuck we're looking at here. Let's see if I can put this back on the screen, you guys. All right, so let's see. Sanctions, where did we leave off? Ambassador Venezuela. Yeah, so basically overkill is what he's trying to say here. Using a blowtorch to cook an egg just doesn't really make much sense, and it's probably not going to get the job done correctly in the end, right? Sanctions expert Brett Erickson told Newsweek that Trump introducing a strike option blurs the line between law enforcement and military engagement, raising questions about escalation, proportionality, and long-term consequences. What people are saying. Colonel Chris Devine, a spokesperson for the Defense Department, told Fox News Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers USS Jason Dunham, DDG-109 USS Gravely, DDG-107 USS Sampson, DDG-102, and embarked U.S. Coast Guard law enforcement detachment teams are currently operating in the region, as if we didn't know already, because the China could tell us that, apparently. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro said Wednesday in response to the buildup, this land belongs to Venezuelans, and there will be no traitor or empire that can touch or desecrate this sacred ground that the liberators bequeathed to us. Now, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like a president of peace? Does this sound like a president that is not leading us into a possible armed conflict with Venezuela? Does this not seem like an overstep, right? A massive fucking overreaction, a massive, a massive show of force in order to justify either the news cycle not being on Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's engagement in criminalities, or Donald Trump really wants to engage in war with both the cartel, with both Venezuela, while also, putting pressure on our allies such as Ukraine, as opposed to Russia, to actively engage in negotiating peace process. But does this sound like somebody that's trying to keep the United States out of war? Does this sound like something that is even America first? And I don't agree with isolationist policies, but, I stress to any Republican watching, any conservative that may be watching this in the background, or in any MAGA, member that may be watching this at any point. Does this sound like America first to you? Does this sound like the anti-war president? Does this sound like somebody that's not going to get involved in far-flung conflicts? Does this sound like somebody that's not going to risk our military, in engagements that don't have to do with the, direct protection or, the direct defense of the homeland? And again, you can say it's in defense or, in trying to combat the drug war. But again, how does it make sense if we could get more information from not only the drugs, but from the people themselves by intercepting them, as opposed to lobbing missiles through 30-foot fucking boats? So we're going to spend what? $2-3 million per missile or whatever the fuck it was to take out about, $100,000 worth of product for them in a $15 fucking boat with, 5 stolen engines. And you think that's going to deter them? Again, do you not know the people that you're up against? Do you not know how ruthless and persistent these people are? Like, these motherfuckers build submarines in order to get the shit over here. You think these people are going to be deterred by you taking out 11 people that they themselves would have shot in a fucking heartbeat for any reason, for any number of reasons, or if they were just instructed to do so? Because I got news for you. They'll think of other ways, right? You send a missile through a boat, they find another way to do it. They'll fucking get the submarines back going. You start going after the submarines again, they'll find another way to do it. It's been a fucking cat and mouse game for a long, long time now. And you think because you took out one 30-foot fucking fishing boat with a couple bundles on it that you send in this huge message. The bigger message is the 8 or 9 or 10 warships that you've now sent into the area. And again, this is when we were talking about on yesterday's show, that article that I pulled up talking about Nicolas Maduro having uncovered some sort of plot, false flag operation by the United States in order to justify some sort of military engagement. Again, is this just the Trump administration showing how far they're really willing to go in order to, cover up the Epstein headlines with headlines of their own, regardless if they're good or bad? Or is this showing us something else? It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. All right, let's see here. Let's see if there's anything that I missed. Let's see if there's anything that I missed. Let's see here. No, we did that one. We did that one. No, we did that one. That one. We should be good. I think we're ahead of schedule today, which means we could probably get to a little bit of this, which I have been dying to cover for the last couple days because, I have a passion, a soft spot somewhere inside me for British politics, for British culture. Maybe it comes from my studies of World War II or whatever the fuck. I'm not sure. But this was Nigel Farage, pretty much in the same position that RFK found himself in today, just an uncomfortable hot seat, being questioned by both. And I think if I have time, I'll get the clips by both Jamie Raskin and Jared Moskowitz, who did a great job at taking Nigel to task here. So let's just see, because I have a little bit of time here, because we got done a little bit early with the rest of the stuff that we were talking about, if you can indulge me just a little bit in some of this, fantastic display of grandeur from Jamie Raskin and Moskowitz here, because I cannot stand Nigel Farage. Fucking cannot stand the man. So let's just see a little bit of this, please.
Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, when I
If
was
I can, or if I need to set this up just a little bit, Nigel Farage, a right-wing, bad actor, politician, bigoted, homophobic, racist piece of shit from over in the UK. What is he? The leader of the Reform Party? What's the name of his bullshit party there? Anyway, it doesn't matter because we're in the United States, but he's a degenerate. He's an Epstein lover. He's a big fan of Donald Trump. UKIP. Thank you. Right, said Rob. Thank you, brother. UKIP. So you've probably heard of it. And you've probably seen him once we show his face here. You'll probably recognize him. But I believe he's coming to complain about what he's calling a free speech or a First Amendment. You can't be calling it a First Amendment problem because they don't have the First Amendment over there. So I think he's just calling it a free speech problem in the UK. Because he's not happy with the way that they've been cracking down on his bigotry and some of the homophobia and racism that people in his party have displayed. So let's just, we can just get in. No, it's not. Wait. UKIP. So I was right. It is Reform. UKIP was the old party. Sorry, I'm just, before I get into it, I want to make sure I get the facts right. No. All good. I thought the same thing, my friend. I thought the same thing. So all good. No problem. All good. I appreciate you, Cheetah. Thank you, brother. And Rob, thank you. I appreciate you for trying to chime in there. No problem, because I thought it was. I remember UKIP too, and I couldn't remember. It's tough to keep up with UK politics, but anyway, doesn't have to do with the story. So let's just go along. Let's go along and see how embarrassed he was.
Sort of constitutional law. I used to teach my students that freedom of speech is like an apple. And everybody wants to take just one bite out of the apple. Somebody doesn't like left-wing speech. There's a bite. Somebody doesn't like right-wing speech. Somebody doesn't like feminist speech. Somebody doesn't like...
And I believe what happens here, in case you're a little bit confused as to maybe why he doesn't get to some questions for him, I believe what happens here is there is some past history between either some statements, some comments made by Nigel Farage about Jamie Raskin. And I think Jamie Raskin uses his time here in order to, I'm not going to say attack Nigel Farage, but to use either his past statements against him or to use the time not to ask him questions, but to kind of, get one up on him in this. So in case you're asking why he's not asking him any questions or anything, that's probably why here. And then I might be able to pull up in the background what Nigel said about Raskin in the past, but I don't know if that's too important anyway.
Sexist speech. And everybody just wants to take one bite. But if we let everybody take a bite, at the end of the day, there's no apple left. It's all gone. So if you want to defend free speech and you want a society that's defined by free speech, you've got to accept even the speech you oppose, the speech that you abhor. Now, Professor K, we want to try to bring some objectivity to the conversation. I looked up the Reporters Without Borders rankings of every country in the world, according to press freedom. Norway was number 1. North Korea was number 179. It's like a totalitarian dungeon. The UK was number 20.
I'm going to skip ahead just to where he goes after Farage. My
Puzzling
apologies.
brilliance is undoubtedly a lifetime achievement award for me, so I will hold it closely. But I wanted to ask you about your commitment to the freedom of speech universally. I think it's a principle that you advocate for everyone, not just for people who are in your party or people you agree with. You said that there should not have been a protest against the Gaza war in the UK. And then when it went ahead, the police refused to shut it down. You called them gutless for not shutting it down. Do you regret having opposed that, given that there was no violence there and there were 700,000 people who wanted to express themselves that day?
I have not opposed people standing up and protesting in favor of people living in Gaza at all. There was one particular day, and it was the Sunday nearest November the 11th, which was when we had big memorial services in London And I think a march being allowed to go ahead on that day would have been a mistake. Any other day?
I was procuring the clip of Jared Moskowitz next that we could play next as we finish up here with Jamie Raskin on Nigel Farage.
Fine.
Oh, I see. Who gets to decide that?
What I think actually is something that is embedded.
And again, for those of you who don't know, very pro-Israel Nigel Farage, very anti-Gaza, very anti-Palestine, doesn't believe in the rights of people to be able to march and protest for the rights of the Palestinian people, thinks that should only be a right observed and afforded to the people that are pro-Israel and are advocating to continue sending weapons to, further and, help an ongoing genocide and starvation of an entire population.
In the country, something that is absolutely fundamental to
That's why we have a written constitution. You might take that idea back to the UK with you.
Well,
because the freedom of speech applies 365 days a year here under the First Amendment, not 364, 363, depending on some politicians heckling the government and telling them to shut down free speech.
We have allowed mass pro-Gaza demonstrations in London weekend after weekend.
No thanks to
We have allowed pro-Gaza, and again, as Jamie Raskin's going to go on to point out, no thanks to him, right? So he's tried everything in his power to shut these things down at every turn.
All right, let me change.
This was
let me try another one.
Sensitive day. That's all.
I got you. It was a sensitive day. And I thought that's what the freedom of speech was about. You have a right to engage in speech that other people consider offensive or insensitive. But in any event,
every right
you've made yourself clear, Mr. Farage.
364 days a year if they want.
You've made yourself clear.
364. You hear him? 364 days a year, just not on that day.
To your constituents in Claxton today. Let me ask you this. You've banned journalists from your political events that you disagree with, haven't you?
No, in fact, I'm the only political
Really? At your convention, you didn't ban journalists and revoke their
take,
credentials?
I take the average press conference, I take 25 questions.
No, that wasn't my question. Mr. Farage, we're politicians, so we...
Very easy to see when somebody doesn't want to answer the questions because they've clearly been got. And Jamie Raskin, very good at putting people in that position.
See what you're doing. I'm asking you a direct question.
Well, thank you.
I'm asking you a direct question, and I hope you can answer it. Why do you ban journalists who oppose your views from coming to your events? Why did you tell your party, why did you tell the local government not to do interviews with your local newspaper?
I am the most open person to any journalist.
Undoubtedly. You're the handsomest man in the world.
Hey, how the fuck did Harry Potter? Who's that? Excuse me, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but how'd the guy from Harry Potter get in here? Did he come with Farage? Isn't that fucking Harry's buddy there in the back on the right? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the fucking story, so I don't know the guy's name. My apologies.
But I'm asking you a different question, okay? That's not my question. My question for you is, and it's legit, why do you ban journalists that you disagree with from your political events, like from your convention?
I don't.
Okay, and you say you've never done that?
I can't think, if I go back the last 25 years, I can't think of banning anybody. But I mean, maybe somebody else did. But look, I see. It was somebody else who did it.
I
do more. I take more questions.
I just love seeing Farage squirm, and I know I'm running out of time here, so let's see if we can play a little bit of the Moskowitz interaction here as well.
Sad.
You're meeting with the president?
I can't remember what the schedule is. It's possible.
You can't remember if you're meeting with the president.
I'm being very polite. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing this afternoon, but I can assure you that.
But there's the free speech hearing. You're not going to tell me what you're doing this afternoon?
Free speech is one thing. Discretion's quite another too.
Okay. All right. So you're leaving to have lunch with the president. So, Mr. Farage, I have a question.
Jesus Christ! I've never heard a laugh sound like a fucking cot in a cigarette so much in my life. For Christ's sake, is there still a cigarette burning in this guy's fucking throat as he's speaking right now?
Have you heard about the Epstein thing that's going on here?
I have.
You have? What do you think about it?
I'm not going to give comment on anything happening in America. I'm here as a witness.
Perfect.
I'm here as a witness. I'm here as a witness for what is happening in the United Kingdom and in the European.
Perfect. Let me just go through it. So it's been 9 months, right, since we've been meeting in these hearings. We've not had Pam Bondi here, even though we have jurisdiction over the Department of Justice, not Dan Bungie.
The gentleman yield.
Nat Cash Patel. I will 100%. We'll go back and forth. Let me just do my thing.
Okay.
and we'll-
Well, I'm just going to correct. Cash Patel's coming in too. I'll give you an extra 10 seconds. Cash Patel.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Jim Jordan. All right, I'd like to get into more of that, but unfortunately, we're running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure I can get into thanking some people. Let me get into the Venmos first, but at every single turn, whether it be sending warships over to Venezuela, continuing to call the Epstein situation a Democrat hoax, as the victims are holding press conferences and serious interviews with ABC and NBC and pouring their hearts out and risking their fucking lives and livelihoods again by showing their faces on camera. No matter what the fuck it is, you can tell that this administration is going to do everything possible, like we just saw with the 33,000 pages, that 98% of which had already been released or is it publicly known information. So they're going to try everything they possibly can to distract you again from what's going on, whether it be the unconstitutional illegal acts, either through National Guard deployments, either through the fucking integration of the Metropolitan Police Department. Whatever it may be, whether their use of ICE or Border Patrol, or again, their corruption and the conspiracy in covering up Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's involvement with him. And these are absolutely things as well as the humanitarian plight over in Gaza and what Israel and the government of Israel continues to perpetrate, as well as the plight of the Ukrainian people and the pressure that Donald Trump continues to put on Ukraine, as opposed to putting the pressure on Russia, even though we see Russia and Vladimir Putin meeting with Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, laughing it up with Modi, the whole fucking crew just, having a big ball of a time, even though Donald Trump says he's making progress with them. But thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, James. Thank you, Thomas. And thank you, Roxanne, Claudia, Linda, and Damon, for all of your contributions over on Venmo. I really appreciate it. Let me see if I can get to you guys quickly here on the YouTubes. Thank you so much, Jerry. Heroium Slava, as always, to you. Thank you, Pam, so much, as always, to you. Please tell the pup I said hello. Thank you so much, Rox, for everything that you do, both in the chat and outside of the chat. Thank you for your help and your assistance. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Jerry, for becoming a new YouTube member. You fucking guys are amazing. Thank you, WW, watching Dirty Donnie say they weren't his type. Did he have a press conference today? Yeah, we'll see if we can maybe take a look at that this weekend if we can't pop on before that. But thank you, WW. Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate you, brother, not only for the gifted memberships, but also for your kind contributions as in the way of donations as well. Thank you so much, Mods Rule, Kershaw. You're fucking killing it, Patrick. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, Wayne, and congratulations on being here for 13 months. Support the victims. Amen, Wayno. You're a good man, and I appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Sheldon, for the one gifted. Thank you, Carol. Looks like Alex is wearing someone else's watch. Was he? Would he steal somebody's? Would he steal somebody's watch? Who knows? I appreciate you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Cadillac. I appreciate you. Thank you for that 5 gifted. Hope you guys are thanking all of these people that are kind enough to gift the memberships in the chat. Thank you, Bicycle Mike. I'm better when I watch your show. That fucking is huge, dude. That's huge. I hope you're doing well. If there's anything I can send or help you with, you just please let me know. Don't be afraid to reach out. We are thinking about you, sending you positive vibes and well wishes. Thank you, Bicycle Mike. And thank you, Nordez and JD. As always, you two are always fantastic.
Director FBI is coming in 2 weeks, and the Attorney General
helping this channel.
But
and
still,
I can't thank you enough.
But still, we're not doing that.
Sorry, one of them was playing in my ear. But yeah, so I appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you're hitting the like button on the way out of here. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. If you find yourself coming back, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. It's free to share. It's free to like it. It's free to throw some emojis in the chat there. It's free to make friends in the chat. I appreciate you guys, all that you continue to do. Let's see here. The dates for the September Zooms. I should probably throw those on the screen. So we got September Zooms coming up. If you sign up at patreon.com/Boston Brian, that'll get you signed up for the Patreon Zooms. We have one kind of like a regular general Gen Pop Zoom that we do, and then for ones for everybody signed up at the VIP level. So September 11th this month, I thought that would be very poignant to do. and then the 25th. So make sure at any level, no matter where you're signed up, get you access to a Zoom chat. So if you signed up anytime before then, you'll gain access. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. There's also, like I said, Venmo up in the corner. There is the PayPal as well, which is this guy instead of well, does it show it? Yeah, it's that guy instead of this guy. So, you could probably go back and forth depending on when the video is shown. Those go a long way in helping as well. It's very direct, and YouTube doesn't get to take a cut. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you Sunday for what we call the main show. I appreciate you. Continue to kick ass. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Find your nearest protest, find your nearest rally. Make sure you're keeping your head on a swivel, though. Make sure you're staying safe out there. I will see you guys Sunday. If not tomorrow, if you're going to be watching Hal's, I'll see you tomorrow on Hal's show, I believe 10 o'clock Pacific here or 1 o'clock Eastern. Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't get those times wrong. If I did, make sure you find out when it is. But I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Hit that like on the way out. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast to sift through the bullshit, lies, propaganda of the mainstream media, Republican Party, Donald Trump himself, and to break it down for normal, everyday working class individuals like you and like me. What do you say? I'll see you Sunday. Continue the fight. Continue to kick ass because we are winning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go. Thank you, guys. I'll see you.
Wrong.
Is the town drunk?
Where you going? Nowhere.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
He builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, we'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it. Calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it. I've become an expert on guns.
call them dumps, big massive dumps.
The big, fat, sloppy United